Барановичи, Барановичи, белорусский городок. Барановичи, Барановичи, милый сердцу уголок. Барановичи, Барановичи, вы прекрасны, как звезды в ночи. Знаю, что с вами вовек не расстанутся родные Барановичи. Светит ли солнце или небо дождливое хмурится, снятся порою нам с детства знакомые улицы. Пусть иногда мы наш город с тобою прощаемся, но несмотря ни на что, мы сюда возвращаемся.
On the 15th of December 1984, it was opened as a history museum of the Baranovichi branch of the Belarusian Railway. In 2019, it was included in the Register of Museums of the Republic of Belarus under the name Museum of the Railway in Baranovichi of the Unitary Enterprise, Baranovichi branch of the Belarusian Railway. It is an exposition of the history of the railway and an exposition of railway equipment in the open air. The history exposition is located in an old building of the early 20th century near the Baranovichi-Polesky railway station. The halls of the museum show the stage of the formation and development of railway transport. Through history, documents, photographic materials, full-scale and volumetric exhibits, models of equipment, paintings, railway uniforms and other museum items, the past and present, the work and life of railway workers are traced.
The first exposition of the history of railway equipment in Belarus clearly tells about the initial periods of the technical equipment of the railway. The museum has a collection of domestic and foreign-built steam locomotives, track dismantling equipment, freight rail cars, sleeper tamping machine, various signaling and communication devices, a complex of water supplies devices with an operating water intake hydraulic pump for refilling steam locomotives with water, samples of passenger and freight wagons of different generation.
Each exhibit of a museum, many of them were restored thanks to the efforts of railway workers and veterans of the Baranovichi branch, residents of Baranovichi, is of undoubted interest not only for professionals, but also for history lovers. The exhibits of a museum provide an opportunity to feel the power and beauty, uniqueness and significance of many ideas implemented in the creation of railways, as well as to get in touch with the past and really appreciate the entire history of the development and improvement of railway technology in different periods. The museum is constantly updated with unique exhibits.
This chemist is located in Telman Street. Its history started at the beginning of the 20th century. Alchemic Stanislav Laevsky opened it in 1920. It was a two-storied building. The chemist itself was on the ground floor. The alchemic with his family lived on the first floor. There also was its own laboratory. The pharmacy was called Regime Apothek and worked around the clock. The chemists made their own medicines, which were also used by the town's hospitals. There was European equipment, and even during the war, the pharmacy didn't stop working. For a century of its life, the building hasn't changed much. Even the house number hasn't changed, 15. Only, either it was located on Zwicky Street, and now it is Telman Street. In 2007, the pharmacy of Laevsky was listed as an architectural monument.
The restoration works began in 2010, and a year later the ground floor of the pharmacy was already opened. The first floor of it was opened in 2012. The interior of the building is rather interesting. A cabinet with documents and books, a cozy armchair, an old desk, a typewriter, a book of orders since 1946, an antique telephone, a lamp. Previously, a lot of natural components of medicines were grown on the territory near the pharmacy and then used in the alchemical laboratory. In front of the building, a real pharmacy garden was laid out where many useful herbs were grown. The Pharmacy Museum in Baranovichi is an excellent example of the careful attitude to its history, and may soon become the most popular site in the town.
The Lenin Square. The main square of the town is located at the intersection of the main highways of Baranovichi, Lenin, Sovetska, Komsomolskaya streets. It's named after Lenin. To the north, the square is bordered with a residential building with the shops, cafes. Along the south side is the main administrative building of the town, the town hall. The western part of the square is closed by the Hotel Horizon. A monument to Vladimir Lenin has been erected opposite the town hall. The installation of the memorial took place on the 22nd of April 1960 of the 9th anniversary of the birth, the leader of proletariat. On this monument, the figure of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin is presented in full height and reaches a height of 4.6 meters, and the entire statue together with the pedestal is 11.2 meters. By the way, there used to be a monument to Stalin before Lenin. Today, all kinds of cafes, restaurants, pastry shops, beauty salons, and other examples of the extent of small Belarusian town are functionally behind the leader in Baranovichi.
The Park of Culture and Recreation, named after 30th anniversary of the All-Union Leninist Young Communist League, usually known as Young Park, was opened back in 1975. At the entrance to the park there is a monument to the twice hero of Soviet Union, Sergei Ivanovich Gritsevets. He was a Soviet fighter as pilot in the 1930s. In the center there is a fountain where people throw coins for good luck. There is also an amusement park, a shooting range, a stage, and a couple of cafes. Often city events are held here, which will forever remain in the memory of every tourist. There is an amusement park where you can have fun and a playground where children can play with others. Here is a restaurant where you can eat after walking in the park.
Baranovichi State University today has 3,273 students of the first and second stages of higher education, 26 specialties of the first stage of higher education, 3 specialties of the second stage of higher education, postgraduate education, 5 faculties, engineering, pedagogy and theology, linguistic, economics and law, a bunch of specialized laboratories, classrooms, workshops, computer labs, annual scientific and practical events, sports sections, campus with 3 dormitories. On the territory of university there is a large basketball pitch as well as a large swimming pool. Highly qualified medical staff, experienced instructors of the sports club are always ready to provide the necessary assistance.
The Dubovo Sports Stadium was officially open as the 9th of August. It was built in connection with the protocol of the instructions of the President of the country. The second stage is also playing an indoor hockey hall, a standard playing field measuring 91 times 55 meters. The stadium can accommodate 1,100 spectators, and the stands are protected from rain and sun by a special visor. The facility includes 400-meter running tracks, 4 locker rooms with showers, rooms for coaches and sports reference, a conference room, a medical center, an electronics scoreboard, 2 parking areas.
A youth park inspired by the victory was opened in Baranovichi, dedicated to the Year of Youth and the celebration of the 70th anniversary of the great victory in the Second World War. The central part of the park is the Lovers' Alley with 4 themed benches and a themed pavilion. In this park, people can walk, take pictures, take snacks, and just have a good time. On the territory of the park, there is a workout area and a roller sky track.
On the outskirts of the town of Baranovichi in the forest guy stands a memorial complex dedicated to the victims of war. In late June 1942, special trains brought Czechoslovakian citizens and their families from the town of Terezin to the railway station of Baranovichi. They were taken from the town to the forest guy, where they were shot dead. On the 24th of June in 1972, a memorial was unveiled on the site of the execution. The memorial begins with a grey concrete slab. On the June day in 1942, there was the border between life and death. In the laconic plastic forms of a low slab stretched from edge to edge of the road, thousands of feet are guessed. Along the central axis, the symbolic threshold of life and death splits this fragile line. At the opposite end of the territory of the memorial complex, 3 symbolic boulders have been laid. These are the symbols of the 3,000 people shot here. The boulders are different, large, small, and medium, and they symbolize people of different ages, representatives of 3 generations. Between the threshold of life and death and 3 boulders, there is an earth road leading to the central monument, an arc made up of 2 12-meter-high supports. Suspended on chains representing barbed wire are 2 bells. The symbolic supports are connected with a cube made up of copper, which depicts reliefs of human hands. The reliefs of the southern side of the arc depict hands that express protest and call to fight fascists. On the relief fixed on the northern side of the monument are also depicted human hands, but they drop down from the torches. 2 concrete paths lead from the monument deep into the forest. The Commission for the Investigation of Atrocities committed by fascist aggressors that worked right after the liberation in 1944 found out that in the forest guy 3,000 people were buried. The symbolic wall of the execution both closes and unites the composition of the memorial complex. On the wall there is an inscription made up in Russian and Czech, blessed memory of Czechoslovakian brothers.
Absolutely in any city there are places that were created to observe various traditions. Baranovichi is not an exception. In our town there is a Tree of Love. The Tree of Love is located on a small island of Lake Svetilovsky. The lake is located on the territory of the town, so if you want to visit it, you won't need to go outside. This island was named Lover's Island. There is a beautiful pavilion and 2 trees of love, which were made by the local artists. You can get to the island over a special bridge. The romantic object was immediately loved by both the residents and guests. Any couple can hand their lock of love on this construction and throw the key into the water. There is a belief that the married couples who have left their lock there and throw the key into the water will live together happily forever.
The Church of the Holy Great Martyr George the Victorious is located in a quiet and friendly district, and importantly, it's only about 10 minutes from the city central by bus. So the church is located in an incredibly picturesque place. Not far from the church there is a beautiful eye-catching lake. Every day this lake attracts a lot of indifferent passers-by or just residents of this area. Here you can see parents with children who came to feed ducks, people who decide to inspire and enjoy the breathtaking views of nature. The laying of a new church in Baranovichi on the shore of Lake Svetilovskaya took place in 2010, and already in June 2016 the church was consecrated.
The temple is open daily from 9 a.m. to 18 p.m. At this time you can put candles in the church, submit notes, buy icons and many other religious items. The facade of the church is made of pine timber. The new church has 2 floors. On the first one there is a reading room, a library, a church shop, service rooms and a baptismal table.
The depth of the pool in it is about 1 meter. Next to the baptismal room is a room with a changing table and a changing room. Services are held on the 2nd floor. The parishioners will climb there by the stairs which are installed outside the church on both sides of the main entrance. A lift is installed for people with disabilities. There are parent slabs around the building.
I'm Amelia and today we are in the ice palace of our town. Today we are going to tell you as much as possible about this beautiful place.
And let's get it started. The ice palace is located in the northern part of our town. You can get there by buses number 3, 5, 6, 10, 12, 16, 17, 18, 23 and 25. From any corner of the city. So you will find this place easily due to its huge size and an unusual shape of the building.
Now we are at the main entrance to the palace, so let's see what is inside. This is a hall and there is a lot of cameras in the ice palace and there is a man who watches over there and keeps order in the palace. This part of the palace can be called official.
Of the ice palace's staff, administration, guards and others. It's a lot of rooms and a conference room for 150 people to study or work, which can be used not only by athletes but also can be rented.
The second part of the palace can be called sports. Here we can see a first aid post, changing room for hockey players and skaters of different age, coaches room, referees room and dry room. There are changing rooms of the main hockey team and cheerleaders. And this is the entrance to the ice arena.
Third part of the palace can be called entertaining. Play bowling, billiards, tennis, karaoke, take a steam bath, stay for the night in the lodge. But there are some gyms and a lot of choreography halls there too.
Thanks for watching!
The 7 years have passed since the tragic events of the Second World War, which no one is able to forget. A vivid example of it is a monument in the town of Baranovichi in Belarus, Mother of Sorrow. This memorial was created in 1964 on the western outskirts of the town in Brestskaya Street. On the wall, with a barred window, there is a sculptural image of a Mother of Sorrow on a low pedestal near a concentrate wall. And in 2005, on the 6th anniversary of the victory, the memorial complex memory was opened, where plaques were installed next to the Mother of Sorrow, in memory of 31,000 civilians, as well as in memory of fellow countrymen who had gone to the front and died on the fields. of war, and in memory of the prisoners of Nazi concentration camps. The author of the monument was a local sculptor V. Yagodnitsky. Monument reminds of the bitter loss of mothers who could not see their children anymore. Every year flowers are brought to the monument in memory of the victims. The face of the Mother of Sorrows conveys all the emotion the mother had to go through during the Great Patriotic War.
We will now tell you about and show you the Ypres Zoo. Since October 2016, the 200 area has been home to ornamental birds and rare animals, as well as all kinds of trees native to Belarus. The park is great to families. You can not only see different animals there, but also visit a cafe or spend time in the rest area. There are many different photo areas or just places for great photos. And now we are going to meet inhabitants of the park. At the entrance we are greeted by Nasoks. As we walk on, we see squirrels and rabbits. We can meet the nocturnal animals that have their own lodge. There you can see lemurs, bats, chinchillas and others. Near the lodge you will find a raccoon castle and a mirror fairy lake. This is home to numerous ducks, swans and storks. Next we will head towards the bird cages. Among them we will see varieties of owls, doves and other birds. We move on to bigger animals, namely roe deer, llamas, deer, goats, camels and bison. They are all fairly well groomed. You can feed all animals, for which food is sold at the entrance. We are looking forward to seeing everyone in the Ypres Park.
Барановичи, Барановичи, белорусский городок. Барановичи, Барановичи, милый сердцу уголок. Барановичи, Барановичи, вы прекрасны, как звезды в ночи. Знаю, что с вами вовек не расстанутся родные Барановичи.